So the first thing I'm going to do is, well actually the first thing I'm going to do is turn the transmitter on and wait for that light to stop blinking. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug the helicopter in. Alright, so on the transmitter, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the trim tabs, these 3 trim tabs, are in the middle. Now this one, I want all the way down. On the top here, the 2 knobs, I want this knob and this knob in the middle, and then you want to take this switch and pull it back. Now, if the helicopter had the motor still plugged in, right now when we just flicked that switch, the helicopter would have spun up at full speed and caused all kinds of destruction. But because the motor's unplugged, nothing happens. Well, as far as the motor spinning up. So, idle up switch is towards you. Now, go ahead and put your throttle stick right up here in the middle, dead in the middle, and then you can leave your transmitter just like this as we go through for setup. Alright, so one of the first things we're going to do is make sure that the servo arms here are level. Now, with the stock radio system, you're not going to always be able to get these perfectly level, so just get them as close to being level as you can. You can see the other one in here, and then there's the other one on the other side. Now, if you're replacing a servo or you're upgrading to new servos, always make sure that you turn your transmitter on, get it in idle up before putting your servo arms on. But if you're just verifying setup like you just got it brand new, then you won't have to take your servo arms off unless one of those servo arms is way off. Like if it was down there, you'd want to take the servo arm off, reposition it, and see if you can't get it a little bit closer to being level. Now all mine are pretty level, so now I'm going to go ahead and move up to leveling the swash plate. You need to make sure that the swash plate is level with the frame. Now, you don't actually have to take the rotor head off to do this, but I took it off because I wanted to show you a little tool that they make. It's called a swash plate leveling tool, and it's just got a little hole in the bottom. And as you can imagine, all you do is you slide it over the top, and these little 3 feet will sit on the 3 parts of the swash plate. So now, if the swash plate is even the slightest bit unlevel, you can see here that it's not gonna, all the feet won't touch the swash plate guide or the tool. And I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. See the gap on the front of this here? So now what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to take the link off and adjust this link on the front of it, probably just 1 turn, and then that'll bring up the front of the swash plate so it touches that swash plate leveling tool. And then I'm going to verify that the swash plate is level with the other 2 feet, and as long as that's set, then I'll be good to go to keep moving up the head with setup. I just wanted to show you real quick that it did just take 1 turn of this link to get this to so that it was all level. Now one other thing too is just go through and make sure these screws as well as these ball links are tight, as well as, you know, the linkages down here. Make sure that screw's tight, make sure that screw's tight. And just in case you were wondering how I took the rotor head off, very simple. All you can do is disconnect the 4 links that go to the swash plate here, and then remove the 1 screw that goes to the center of the rotor head, and then just pull the whole thing up and off. Alright, so moving up from the swash plate, you got your washout assembly here. Now these arms coming across, they should be level if your swash plate's level. Now, if these aren't level, there is a possibility that your swash plate is too high or too low. But generally when you're just verifying setup from the factory, that should be right where you need it, so these arms will be nice and level once you make sure your swash plate's level. Now, moving up here from the washout assembly, you got these arms that come up to these little pieces up here. And you can see here, this part. Now what you need to do is adjust the link so that this arm is nice and level coming across. And you want to do the same thing with the other side. And then what you're going to do is level your flybar paddles out with the whole assembly here. Let's see if I can get this. See how that's all nice and level down there? With these levels and the flybar paddles level, now go up to the pitch of the blades.